Alright, Forbes fans, got the Model M24B here again. This one's shown in ATAX. In today's video we're going to talk about how to take the barreled action out and reassembling it. First thing, like with any firearm, you want to check to make sure that it's unsafe and doesn't have any ammunition in it. So we're going to open the bolt, we're going to check the chamber, and place the rifle on safe. And we're going to go ahead and remove the bolt before we remove the barreled action. That's a very important step. You're going to push your bolt catch in the rear. It should allow your bolt to come out freely. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the rear trigger guard screw. Now, whenever I do this, I lighten the rear trigger guard screw up. I'm going to take the action out. This is just preference, but I don't like to remove these all the way until I get them both loosened up. Now with a little bit of slight force, just a little bit, shouldn't take too much, you should be able to pry the barreled action apart. You don't want to put this between your feet and jank on the barrel. Just make sure you put a little bit of pressure up around the nose of the stock, the fore end, and it should come right out for you. Barreled action, magwell, follower, and spring. Okay, for reassembly, and this is the important part. This is part of the problems that some of you guys are having out there, and I get some bent mag boxes back with feed issues. Because if it's put together incorrectly and you put the torque screw back in, you'll actually bend the mag box, or you can bend the mag box. So when you're putting the rifle back together, keep your action upside down right in front of you. Take your mag box, and with the feed lips up, you want to place the beveled end forward. You're going to have to set it in there and then take the rear portion of it and squeeze it together, and that'll seat it in to the action where it's supposed to go. It's in there good and tight. You want to make sure it's in there good and tight. Okay. Then you're going to take your follower and spring, and with the beveled end of the follower, put it in forward to the barrel. Now, just a little trick on these, it's leaning toward me, and you'll notice that the spring is forward. So when you take your stock and put it back on, you kind of want to roll it on and sweep it all together, making sure that when you do that, that the spring and follower don't kick the mag box out of place. Okay, so that's in there good and tight. The mag box is back. So you're going to take your stock, upside down again, still, sweep it across, and rear, and slide it down in place. Now at this point, you can actually pick it up and make sure that the barrel lug and stuff is heading in the right direction, and complete the assembly. Now, you'll notice in your regulation, or your manual rather, that it'll tell you exactly the inch pounds that you're supposed to use. For today's purposes, I'm just going to tighten the screws back in. I won't tighten them down to it. But your action screw is at 80 inch pounds and your rear guard screw is at 36 inch pounds. You got to make sure that you absolutely put your action screw in first. Doesn't affect our rifle's accuracy quite as much because we have a full bedded stock, but it can on some of your rifles. So let's do that first. And again, I don't tighten anything up really tight until I get the other one started, but you're going to put this down until it's pretty snug. Turn your rifle back over again. Open. Then you can function check it in a safe position, of course. Turn the safety. Down range. And that concludes disassembly and reassembly of the M24B Forbes rifle.